Hi, it's Sarah Lou, and I'm going to take a few minutes and show you how to make your own Things Teachers Say poster. I've got a few supplies with me. I've got a piece of paper, a pencil, a regular pencil can work. I've got a black marker and then a ruler that I'm going to use. You really don't need sophisticated tools to do this. If you don't have a black marker, you can use a black pen, whatever. Or if you've got a purple one instead, that's not a big deal. You can use that. All right, so I'll get these out of the way until I need them. First thing I want to do is start with just a border. And I'm going to keep this really simple. So I'm going to use my ruler and literally just trace a line all the way around. I like to have a little border around it. It makes it look a little bit more finished. Notice I'm using a pencil right now, and I'm drawing lightly with the pencil because at some point I'm going to use the marker and trace over the pencil and then go back and erase any pencil marks that still show to make it look nice and neat. So next up, I want to think about what phrase do I want to put as my text on this page. You want something that's relatively short, but definitely something that's very common and recognizable to another teacher. So I thought I would do "let's line up," just 3 little words, but I think teachers say that many times a day. I'm really just going to write on the paper the words "let's line up." I like to alternate text styles, so I'm going to do some in script and some in print, and just change a little bit about how the lettering looks to make it more interesting. You don't want too many different styles. 2 or 3 is probably the max, because more than that just gets a little cluttered looking. So I'm going to start off the word "let's" with a script L here. We'll just go ahead and I'm literally just writing the word. Whatever your handwriting looks like when you write that word is what it can look like. That's great. I sort of eyeballed what's the center. You could certainly use your ruler and measure out the center, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to do that right now. So there's my first word. I think it would be clever if I put the word "line" in some really straight, lined up letters. So I'm going to make a nice, tall, skinny L, I. If you're concerned about keeping a straight line here, you can always just put your ruler down and then follow that line. You don't even have to draw it on there. Just use it as a stopping point to help you. It'll help you also get the letters to the same size. All right, I've got the word "line" now. The next thing that I'm going to want to do is sketch in some sort of a background. I really like using patterns for a background, and patterns sometimes are complex, but I also like really simple patterns because then it helps the text to really stand out from the background. So since I'm talking about lines here, I'm going to just go through and make some lines in the background. This doesn't require any major artistic skill in order to make it happen. You can use tools you have around you to make shapes. If you need something round, go find a cup or something and trace around it. It's not a big deal. Or just let it be irregular shaped. You know, one of the greatest things about hand lettering is the irregularities of it. Since it is made by hand, that's what gives it the character that it has. Next step, what I'm going to do is go through with my pencil, and I'm going to thicken up each of the letters so that I have space to color inside them. All right, so for my L, I'm just going to add a little edge, and I'm just drawing another line following that same pattern, following that same shape. There we go. So there's my L, and it's thickened up now so that I can color inside it. I'm going to do the same thing with the E. So I'm essentially rewriting the text, right? I'm just doing it out to the side of where it originally was. I'm going to leave my cross to my T as a thin line. Let's add a thickness to the S there and there. And then we'll add a little thickness to that, okay? All right, very good. Now, once I've done that, I'm done with my pencil for a little bit. I'm going to get out my black marker. I've got a fine point Sharpie. You could use a regular tip Sharpie, whatever you want. This is just going to determine how thick your lines are. Trace over it in black over the pencil lines that I made. Okay, so now that I have everything traced over with my black line, you can see that it's a lot easier to see the design I made, but it looks a little messy because in several places I sort of missed the line and there's some pencil showing through. So what I'm going to do next is go back with my pencil and actually use the eraser, and I'm just going to go for each word, erase all the pencil marks that can be seen. When you do that, it's going to clean the page up so that it looks nice and neat. All right, so I've got those letters cleaned off now. My outlines are on there. I forgot to outline my border. I'll have to go back and do that. But then it's going to be ready for me to go ahead and color. But that's all there is to it. As you can see, all I did was write the letters and add some extra lines to it to make a coloring page. I hope you enjoyed doing that. I'd really love to see what you made, so post it on social media with the hashtag #BySarahLou/color.